Today I want to refactor or slightly optimize the damage detector today. I'm going to go into the code. If I go down to the part where we're detecting collision, it's collided. We're going through every single triggers and going through them one by one and figuring out whether it's being collided by an attacking punch or a kick. I think it might be better to just keep all the colliding body parts in the dictionary. So I'm going to press Ctrl T, go into the animation progress. And under colliding objects, I'm going to create a dictionary. The key, I'm going to use the trigger detectors that are attached to each of the body part. And the value is going to be the list of all the colliders that are in contact with the trigger detector. So I'm going to call it colliding body parts. And if I go into the trigger detector, F12 here, we're keeping all the colliding parts at the individual trigger detectors. I'm going to get rid of this variable. We're going to use the dictionary. We're going to use the dictionary instead of the single list. First, we want to check if the key's in the dictionary. Let me rename owner to control, as in character control. So we're looking at the dictionary of colliding body parts. And if it contains the key, if it doesn't contain the key, we want to add a new key and a brand new list of colliders. And if the list doesn't contain the colliding object, we add it to the list. So we look at the list, see if it contains the colliding body part. If it doesn't contain it, we're going to add the collider. And the same thing when we're removing the exiting trigger, the exiting collider. First, we must make sure that the exiting collider is in the dictionary. If it contains the key, we also want to make sure that it's included in the list. The attacking body part rather. Let me rename this attacking body part. So if that's contained, we're going to remove it. And lastly, if the list is empty, if the count is 0, we're going to remove the entire key. So now we have a central dictionary instead of individual lists. If I go back to Unity, we should have some errors. I'm just going to rewrite this. We already have all the triggers in the dictionary. So go through the key value pair, go through all the data in the dictionary. Trigger detector is the key, and the list of colliders is the value. And we're going to look at the dictionary. We look at all the colliders. Collider in the key. And then we just do the same thing that we've always been doing. check the data, see if it's colliding or not. The only difference here, we already have the data in the dictionary, which is the trigger detectors. So that should fix all of the errors. And if I go into the character control, we're not going to need this entire list of trigger detectors. We also don't need get all triggers. We already have the dictionary. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. And one more thing in the damage detector. We don't have to update every single time. We only update if there's something in the dictionary. If the count is not 0, it means something is colliding, and that's when we check for attacks. Save all the code, and if I go back and play, everything should be the same, except when we attack, each player doesn't have to check every other attacking info to know whether it's being attacked or not. Because before, whenever somebody attacks, every other character checks whether that character is being attacked or not. It doesn't really matter if there's just one enemy here. Let me add one more. So if we have two different enemies, if one of the players attack, every other player has to check whether it's being collided with the attack or not. That was the previous code. Now we just check if there's something colliding with the character, some sort of a body part, and then we check for attacks. We also don't have to check every single trigger detectors anymore. We only check what's in the dictionary. So before, we used to have some frame drops when we attack. It should be a little better now. It's hard to tell the difference, but theoretically it should be much better. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.